everybody, and welcome into our coverage here of Nebraska football and the Las Vegas Bowl with Damon Benning. I'm Jessica Cootie, and our coverage brought to you by M Grills and Blazin' Grill Works. The Huskers currently going through practice at the site of the practice all week long, Bishop Gorman High School. Great spot to practice all throughout this week. Of course, they've had bowl practices leading up to this. This starts more of the game week type preparation, but this is such a critical time for a football program. Do you get a sense of how the development has gone with some of these young players throughout this last month?
Yeah, they look fantastic right now. I think quietly, I like the body types. I always worry about downtime and rigor and staying fit, and I really like the body types. That was kind of one of the first things that I noticed. And they hit the ground running in terms of their pace, in terms of how brisk they wanted to be. And considering that yesterday was just Christmas, I'll take it.
We're going to, of course, bring you coverage all throughout these next few days. We'll be breaking down different position groups, different matchups. But today we're going to focus on the Nebraska offense. And let's start with the quarterback, TJ Latif. The last time we saw him out, he was injured against Iowa. How has he progressed over this last month?
Yeah, he looks really good. He's crisp. He's sharp. He's running his drills like I'm accustomed to him seeing. And the weird thing that I kind of like with him is he's leading a younger room, right? Some guys that aren't quite as experienced as he is. So seeing him be kind of the ringleader of that bunch is just part of that natural development.
Listen, one of the position groups that every single player is playing, it's going to be a full arsenal of the Husker wide receivers. And so what do you like about the matchup between those guys on the outside matching up against the Utah secondary?
So the secondary for Utah, really good tacklers, right? But there are some opportunities to make some plays for this wide receiving core. Not exactly fleet of foot on the back end in terms of their safeties, but pretty athletic at the cornerback spots for Utah. So the matchup should be one in which Nebraska can win. I don't know if I would go as far as to say exploit, right? Because I think Nebraska wants to control the time of possession. So the controlled passing game, get the ball in and out of Latif's hands. Something that could be critical just is running after the catch. I do think there'll be some opportunities for Nebraska's receivers to run after the catch. I don't know so much about getting shot plays, but running after the catch should be available.
Well, the last time Dana Holgorsen met with the media at a press conference, he had talked about, look, the offense has to be better, has to improve, and that's, moving forward into next season. But what areas of improvement do you think we might see in this offense in this bowl game here coming up on Wednesday?
So I think as much as you can have a playbook pared down for a bowl game at the end of the season, I think they'll play to their quarterback's strengths. They've had plenty of time to self-scout, to self-analyze. They know exactly what they're dealing with in terms of their personnel. So, it won't necessarily be simplified, but I do think it will be pared down. There will be a lot of pet and companion plays, and I think there won't be a lot of deviation.
Going to be some pieces that some guys are going to have some opportunities. Of course, running back, we will talk later on in the week, offensive line as well. But does this coaching staff feel pretty confident with the next man up and the guys that are filling some of those roles?
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with the offensive line because it's interesting. It's almost working the opposite of how you'd think. They all have a blank slate, right? Because Coach Wade, he doesn't know a ton, so he's kind of going with his eye and he's critiquing from there. He doesn't have a lot of preconceived notions. Obviously, he's watched and studied film, but he gets to make his own evaluation. So those guys feel almost invigorated, right, with another outlook, and they had been pretty good, so that's fun to watch. The running backs, like you talked about, that's the one that quietly I want to pay attention to just because of how competitive that room is. To be natural selection in that one.
All right, well, let's hear more from the offensive coordinator, Dana Holgorsen, heading into the matchup against Utah.
Coach, day one in Vegas, a bowl prep in the books. How's it looking so far in terms of preparation, especially coming off a little bit of a light break?
That's good. The retention was there. It's the one thing that you get concerned with by letting them go home for about 4 or 5 days is how much of the work and the prep did we do, against our opponent that they're going to retain. And it looked clean out there today. I think it's a really good idea in my bowl experience is, as soon as you get off the plane, I thought Coach Roll did a great job with this schedule is you go practice right away because they got a lot of energy. So there's a lot of energy out there. There's a lot of juice out there, and you want to get that good work in at the beginning part so you can kind of taper off and get ready for the game.
Is there you've coached in a lot of bowl games, ton of experience. Is there an equalizer or a way to get caught up when you don't have the timing of actual games being played?
That was brought up out there. There's been some slow starts, but we don't want a slow start, and so we're practicing like getting things going early. Guys are going to understand the game plan. They should be excited to play. I think the biggest thing with bowl games is what's your excitement level to play. And I think our guys are going to have a high excitement level. Last year in New York, I thought Coach navigated that really well, and that's a tough place to navigate it. Here, this is a bowl destination. I've never been in this bowl game, but bowl destinations mean a little bit more. That stadium's the best stadium in the NFL right now, and we got a top 15 opponent, so all the motivation's there, so I think our guys will be ready to go.
All the talk right now heading into this is TJ Latif's health, quarterback play. You get a chance to spend a lot of time with him. Now he's kind of the leader right now in that room. What have you seen in terms of his development?
Well, he was a little rusty out there today. I mean, he's coming off that hamstring, which is unfortunate because he hasn't been able to take as many reps as he would normally take leading into this bowl prep, and so the last 3 weeks he's been there fine mentally. But he's missed some reps, and so this week is incredibly important for him from a practice perspective. I thought he was a little rusty out there today. Probably knocked some of that off, did a better job towards the end of practice. I would think tomorrow would be a little bit better, and then just keeps getting better throughout the course going into the game.
As you take a look at this offense in terms of what you want to run, is it limited at all with his reps, or is what's in going to be in and you just fine-tune?
No, he's fine now. I mean, we were just very careful with him. We didn't want to turn him loose too quick and then he retweaks the hamstring, but which was the right play, is the right thing to do. So he feels 100% right now, so anything and everything that we have in the game plan we'll be able to get to it. I got handcuffed a little bit against Iowa because that was about 33% of the plays that we wanted to call that we couldn't, because he was nursing that hamstring. I thought he fought through it fine, but it did reduce what we could do against Iowa. There won't be any restrictions against Utah.
Appreciate your time, Coach.
All right, you got it, bud.
Great stuff there from the offensive coordinator, Dana Holgorsen, DB. Let's talk more about the quarterback, TJ Latif. And, now that he's been the guy, not just for those games to close out the season, but also over the last month, he's been hurt. I know it was hard for him to sit out and be patient and get healthy. But where do you feel like you've seen maybe the biggest growth out of TJ from when he first was named the starter to where he is heading into this bowl game?
Without question, I think it's his emotional maturity. Just being kind of the guy in the locker room. He's kind of become the face of the offense, especially without Emmett here, where it's all eyes on Latif. So just his natural leadership and watching him kind of control the practices, control the locker room, and be the vocal leader of that offense. I think his emotional maturity, he's grown quite a bit.
We've heard Coach will really brag on him, say, hey, he could be our guy. We have full faith in TJ. What did you see and like out of him in the 3 games that he started, or the 2 games that he started, and then throughout this process that it really, you feel like makes the head man believe in TJ?
So I think there's 2 things. Number one, he's got tremendous maturity. He's got really good self-awareness. He understands the moment. And he has this composure that kind of stems from it. So he always gives you the impression that he's under control and he's in control. Number 2, he's extremely competitive.
Yeah.
He is so competitive. I think winning is important to him. Maximizing is important to him. And I think when you combine some of those traits, you get a chance to have pretty good leadership at the quarterback spot.
It's kind of funny going into this matchup or into this bowl game. Quarterback as a big storyline going out of it. It's going to continue to be a big storyline as the Huskers will have to find some depth there in the quarterback room. TJ, of course, embraces the competition, said he wants to compete. But how much do you feel like what he does in this bowl game will be a part of the evaluation moving forward with what they want to do in the quarterback room?
Well, I think it'll be critical, right? It's another step in his development, and it's just another bullet point, right? Another data point where they can look at and say, okay, we can build off of this. We may need to tweak this. And also, depending on how good he looks, that sways guys that may want to come here too, which is okay because you only want the most competitive guys here to begin with. So it's a 2-way street depending on how well he plays.
All right, well, let's hear more from the quarterback, TJ Latif. All right, TJ, how does it feel to be here out, I guess, west in Vegas?
Back West Coast. It feels good. It feels good to be back. Great weather. I mean, we're going to be playing indoors regardless, but, it feels good to be closer back to home.
You got some family here that got to watch you practice today.
Yeah, my grandma came out, watched me practice with a couple of her coworkers and my cousins, so it was good for them to be able to see me practice.
You got a lot of people that are going to be able to come to this game?
I wish I knew. I'm not sure. My mom tells me just get a whole bunch of tickets and she handles the rest.
That's awesome. Well, hey, the last time we saw you got a little banged up against Iowa. How are you feeling health-wise?
I feel good. I'm ready to go.
How tough was it, though, being patient and kind of sitting out and getting yourself healthy?
It was frustrating during the game. The recovery process was good. Made sure I was in there every morning, just trying to recover to the best of my ability. But it feels really good just be able to move around back how I'm used to.
Coach Holgerson said it was pretty tough for you sometimes when you had to miss a couple of practices, but you were eager to get back out there. What are some of the things that you've learned the most here over these last 6 weeks?
Just like I like to take practice as serious as I can. I'm a firm believer in the way you practice is the way you're going to perform on the weekend. So I'm a firm believer in that. So when it was hard for me when I wasn't able to practice, you know what I'm saying? Because I just want to get out there and practice, keep up with my, my fundamentals and things of that nature.
Do you feel like you've grown as a player, over this last month or so?
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely took a little step forward, but I still have a lot more growing to do and a lot more developing to do. And I'm excited.
In terms of this offense, how do you feel like preparations have gone leading up to this matchup with Utah?
It's been good. I feel like everybody's dialed in. Everybody's just trying to keep the main thing. Like, yeah, we're in Vegas. It's going to be a lot to do. It's going to be fun. But as long as the football is right, we'll be good.
Well, you guys will not have Emmett Johnson in this one. How confident are you in the guys that are going to be next man up that you'll be handing the ball off to?
I feel great. Mekhi Nelson and Isaiah Mosey have been doing a great job this last month just preparing. I mean, they've been doing a good job since Emmett's been in front of them, just like preparing as if they're the starter every day. I feel like that's the biggest thing.
I know you have bragged on the entire offensive line, but Justin Evans, how important has he been to you throughout this process?
Man, that's like my big brother, man. Like, whatever I need, he got me. So just having him at the center of the O-line and then everybody else rallying behind him is great. I love all those guys up front, man.
All right, so your first bowl game, getting to start, you were part of it last year on the sideline, but what are you trying to accomplish? What are your goals, personal goals going into this one?
I just want to win. I want to do everything that I could do for the team so that we can win. I just want to win. That's it.
Awesome. Well, good stuff. Appreciate your time. Best of luck.
Thank you, guys.
DB, I've told you this a lot. I've talked a lot about it. Just being on the sideline, you could just tell how much he's loved in this locker room, how much guys want to compete for him. And he really just embraces being on the sideline. He loves to compete, and I think he's really, really excited to come back out here. He was super disappointed after the Iowa game getting hurt that he couldn't finish that out as strong as he wanted to. You get a sense he's really fired up about another opportunity here this season.
Yeah, and we talked about that emotional maturity. He talks like he's grown, right? Been here, done that. So savvy in terms of, his self-awareness. And I think that's something that these guys can build on because this is a mature program. You have to be able to do hard things. The coaches talk about it. The assistants talk about it. It's top down. You have to be able to do hard things, and it's definitely something I think TJ wants to embrace.
We'll hone in on your overall keys for this one as we get closer to kickoff, but TJ Latif specifically, what are going to be the keys for him in order for Nebraska to come out with a win in this one?
I think he's got to start with his poise, right? You have to give me the illusion, and hopefully it's fact, that he's got it under control, that the situation is not too big for him. And I don't think it will be. I mean, it's his first bowl game, obviously, and coming back from injury, so he'll balance those. But he's got really good, talented teammates. I think we'll start with his poise. That'll let me know. And then just his command of the offense. He's getting the bulk of the reps, the majority of the reps, and so I don't think that'll be a problem. And I think the collaboration between he and Coach Holgerson in terms of what they want to do, what they're comfortable doing, I think we'll see come to fruition.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our first practice report here at the Las Vegas Bowl leading up to kickoff between Nebraska and Utah. Our coverage is presented by M Grills and Blazin' Grill Works. And of course, we'll have much more coming up for you here over the next several days as we get you set for kickoff here in the Las Vegas Bowl. For Damon Benning, I'm Jessica Coody.